You know, when the President of the United States asks you to serve, and especially to represent the United States overseas, it's not something any American has to think twice about. I'm David Adelman. I'm the United States Ambassador in Singapore. U.S. ambassadors across the world represent our country to foreign governments. Some say the U.S. ambassador is the embodiment of the United States overseas. We have about 180 different missions in foreign countries, and our mission here in Singapore, I think, is one of the more important ones. We arrived in Singapore in April of 2010, so a little bit more than a year ago. I got here with my wife Caroline and my 3 children and our 2 dogs. We, from day one, have been welcomed very warmly by people from all walks of life in Singapore. And what I found out really from our first day is that Singaporeans have very strong feelings about Americans, where we enjoy a great amount of goodwill. We also have about 400 American university students who study in Singapore every year, and somewhere in the order of 4,000 Singaporeans who study in the United States every year. Student exchanges are a very important part of continuing to build on the very strong friendship between the United States and Singapore, and it's an important part of our mission here in the U.S. Embassy. One of the things that has become very clear to me since I came out here is that the American university system, of which Georgia State is one of our finest schools, is really the envy of the world. It's the dream of many people in Asia to one day attend college or university in the United States, or have their children come to the United States for higher education. And I think the work we do or did in the Georgia State Senate contributed to the further development of America's fine higher education system. So in some ways, I guess I miss the opportunity to work directly on higher education and very directly on business development for the state of Georgia, but it's a high honor, and I don't think there is a greater honor than to represent all of the United States in an important place like Singapore. Well, there are some similarities, and I think what might be of special interest to the Georgia State University community is that the universities in Singapore are very similar to Georgia State. The major universities are downtown. They're in the heart of what is a very big, busy city, which creates opportunities, I think, for students in Singapore that are very similar to the opportunities for students at Georgia State University in Atlanta. They seem to be engaged with the business community, with the government community. They're on the sidewalks, out at lunch in the same way Georgia State University students are out and about in Atlanta. Well, Singapore is a crossroads, so there are many different foods and types of art we see. There's a Chinese influence, Malaysian influence, Indian influence, and there's a whole culture in Singapore of street food that are sold from what's known here as hawker stalls, or sometimes just stalls. I like spicy food, so I like laksa, which is kind of a Peranakan food, which is a combination Chinese, Malaysian. It's sort of a soupy noodle dish. It's a real mess. It's not something you want to order if you're wearing your finest suit or finest tie that day. I think being a United States ambassador in a place like Singapore requires that you be a good listener and that you look for a way forward. I think the most important skill for a successful diplomat is the ability to synthesize different ideas and different opinions and build consensus.